to do with your brain?
Stimulation.
Oh, I'm so glad you used that word.
What you were asking?
Stimulates the brain. We'll get into that later. Brings happiness.
Keeps you fit.
Keeps you fit, brain fit.
Gets you out of the house.
Gets you out of the house.
Yeah, I got that one.
What about Facebook? Facebook's socializing, right?
No, that's
That's
so artificial.
All right, so let's go on. Benefits. So what do you get from actually socializing? What do you get from listening to music as far as your brain is concerned? You get lower risk for diagnosis for Alzheimer's. There's a study for people who reported that they socialized on at least a weekly basis, all the way up to 3 or 4 times a week. They saw that there was a 2.4 times reduction of diagnosis for Alzheimer's.
Wow.
So they were 2.4 times less likely to be diagnosed with Alzheimer's if they reported that they socialized frequently during the week. And then we noticed that there's more neural connections created and more neural connections stimulated. Because socialization activates the whole brain, every area of the brain. We're going to go over that in the next slide. It also makes you more relaxed in a lot of cases. Depends on the music, but generally speaking, you're more relaxed when you listen to music and when you socialize. We are social creatures. Our ancestors relied on a tribe of up to 150 people for us to survive. And when one of us was kicked out, they're like, we don't like you anymore, you are a danger to the integrity of our tribe, that person's nervous system would literally freak out. Yeah, they would just die. And we are wired to remember that. Our genetic memory remembers that. And our nervous system remembers it. Improved brain function. We heard from Eva, stimulation. So the way I've been characterizing it is that you can imagine a cup of coffee being poured in your ear. Because you are listening to music, and it is an auditory stimulant. It releases the neurotransmitter dopamine, just like when you drink coffee, you release dopamine in your brain. So I'll show you a video that's really cool, and that it'll probably illustrate that more accurately. Okay, so here's the anatomy. We have the frontal, temporal, and parietal lobes, but it's in every area of the brain. So I have a nice model here of the brain. It's not a real brain, just a mold. All right, so this is the front. This is where the eyes would be, if there were eyes. And this is the front. So when you're talking to someone, you have to understand the ideas that they're expressing. Sometimes they ask you questions. You have to come up with an answer. And when you are trying to comprehend the ideas that they're expressing, the abstract thinking area of the brain is right here, so you activate the frontal lobe. When you were trying to come up with an answer to a question, they were like, who was Eisenhower's competition in the 1956 presidential election? You're like, oh, Adlai Stevenson. So that's how you come up with an answer. You have to decide on what's the answer, and you have to decide to answer instead of saying, I don't know. And the temporal lobe, so when I say temporal, what word comes to mind?
time.
Time, temporary, tempo, exactly, very good. So right here on the side of the brain, where the ear is, because this is also in charge of hearing, but it's also used for understanding chronological time. So you comprehend, that was then, this is now, this might be the future. So you exercise this area of the brain, because when you are storytelling, which typically happens when you're socializing, you're telling a story, your brain is comprehending, well, did that happen then? Did it happen now? Is it going to happen in the future? So you activate this area. And the other areas of the brain, obviously, when you're introducing yourself to people, you are recognizing them by their face. The parietal lobe is right here. Einstein had a very large parietal lobe. What did Einstein comprehend?
Mathematics. Abstract concepts.
What was his research in?
Relativity.
Space. The parietal lobe is about comprehending 3D space. And in social activities, there is some of that involved. When you're dancing, you're trying to comprehend the space that you're in so that you don't maybe step on their feet or trip and fall on the ground. Let's see. Next one. This is music. And there's so many different areas activated. The 2 areas I want to cover is, let me play this song. Who's this? What song is it? Annie's song.
that's it, yeah.
Very good. It's about one of his wives, right?
One?
Well, he had multiple ones, not at the same time.
Yeah, I know.
Either way, so what are 85% of songs about? Love, emotions. So when you hear music, it activates emotions, and emotions are tied to short-term memory and long-term memory.
That's
Yeah. So there's lots of research. This is just one example, and we already mentioned these bullet points. So essentially, it calms you down, it improves your mood, it increases your alertness, like the coffee being poured in your ear, the auditory stimulant, and then it